Zhou, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Yo, come on up. You're in bed, buddy. Let's see if you get a home run.
Hi everyone, my name is Zhou. I live in China. I come to the States for my graduate study. I graduated from Carnegie Mellon and I work as a software engineer. I'm the last one to speak, and I know everyone wants to go to home, and I really need to go to the bathroom. So I will take it short. I will talk about two things tonight. First is the political system in China. Second is the religious persecution in China. Do you know that in China, every president is elected legally? Yes, they are. I will give you an example on how they are elected. Let's say we are going to elect the president of Tanpan Club tonight. We have one candidate, James. And James is our only candidate. There is no other candidate allowed by our party on this planet. Okay, let's vote. If you vote for James, please raise your hand. Wow, James, you really need a campaign manager. Hire me, I know all the tricks. I'm from China. I can fix it. So, whoever do not vote for James, you can no longer vote anymore. Because you betray our greatest, almighty leader, James, and you cannot vote. And congratulations, James, you win the election with 100 support rate. No one object you. Is it a joke? It is a joke in US, but this is not a joke in China. This is happening. I will tell you this. Last year, the presidency of China, he is elected with 0 objection. So the Chinese political system is very complex. I'm just trying to simplify it. There is only 3,000 people who can vote for president of China, and last year, all these people vote yes, and no one said no. And 6 years ago, when presidency is first elected, there is only 1 objection. 3,000 other people vote yes. And last year, they changed the constitution of China. Before that, they have term limit, like 2 terms, 5 years each term. But last year, they changed the constitution. There's only 3 objections. So this is how political system in China works. They have the so-called representative. They are carefully selected, and they do have election. It's very, very manipulated. So next, I will try to explain a term, a very important term in every Chinese political science book. This is called People's Democratic Dictatorship. You may wonder, how could a dictatorship be democratic? I will explain it to you. If you follow the leadership of Communist Party, if you align with Communist Party, you are considered as a people. So as a people, you are given certain rights. You can do something. This is called democratic. But if you do not follow the leadership of Chinese Communist Party, you are considered as an enemy to the people, an enemy to the party. Then the Chinese Communist Party can dictate you. They can deprive you of some rights. This is called dictatorship. Altogether, this is called People's Democratic Dictatorship. I believe this is not only in China, but also in other communist countries. I call it bullshit. But this is happening. This is really happening. So I see some trend in US, and I really think we can turn it. So the last thing I want to talk about is religious repress or persecution. So a lot of people in US thinks the communism is an ideology, but it is more than that in communist country. If you come from communist country, you know that Communist Party thinks communism is their belief. It's something like a religion. So the Communist Party member, they are not allowed to have their own belief. This is written in Chinese Communist Party's the books. So when Chinese Communist Party first take regime in 1949, they start to re-educate, reform the religious group: Christian, Buddhism, Taoism, Confucius. Let's talk about Christian. They want to control people's mind. There is some people from the Christian church, they formed a movement. They call it Patriot Church. The Patriot Church, they follow the leadership of Communist Party, and the founder of that Patriot Church published articles on newspaper claiming that the Communist Party have totally reformed you and re-educated me. And he calls for people, Christian, to go to North Korea to join the Korean War to fight against the evil capitalism and imperialism, American and all the West country. This is very typical propaganda of communism regime. But there is some people, they refuse to do that. The then Shanghai Bishop, Gong Pingmei, he refused to do that. So what happened to him? He was sentenced to prison of life. He stayed in prison for decades. And luckily, in 1988, he was released and he moved to United States. He died in 2000 in Connecticut. He was born in 1901 and he has a very long life of 99 years old. So this gives you a clear example of how democratic dictatorship works. If someone like the founder of Patriot Church, they cooperate with the Chinese Communist Party, they have certain rights, they have certain life. If you refuse to do that, you are considered as an enemy to the people and to the party. So then, you may end up in the prison. It's a very clear example. However, I have to say that when the chairman Mao or Mao Zedong died in 1978, things get changed. There is open door policy, you may know, and to summarize it, the Chinese Communist Party abandoned the socialism economic policy and take the capitalist policy. It's called open door policy. They have a lot of term for it, but you see in recent decades the Chinese economy booms. But the political system remains the same. It's still the communism, it's still the dictatorship. So it's a very large topic. It's a very large topic to talk about the open door policy and how things changed in the past 3 decades. And I will only focus on the religious repress tonight. So even after open door policy, it doesn't change the nature of communism. They still have this repressed religious stuff going on. They just change their way, their method. They just make it more covered. So, for example, since last year, it is forbidden to buy Bibles online. They can only buy Bibles on certified bookstore. And there is, as you may know, there is a Patriot Church. There is underground church who do not follow the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party. As a lot of priests were arrested last year. There was one very good priest whose name is Cao Sanqiang. He was sentenced to prison for 7 years, just last year. And one of my, it's not only Christian, it's one of my friends, Aris. She worked for University of South Florida. Her family believe in a Chinese spiritual qigong. It's called Falun Gong. And Falun Gong has been persecuted since 1999. And her mom was arrested and sentenced to prison for 2 years for the first time and 6 years for the second time. And in prison, these people are called prisoners of conscience. And these prisoners of conscience are treated differently than ordinary prison. For example, my friend's mom, when he was in prison, the prison guard ordered 2 felons who were the drug dealer to watch her and torture her For example, her mom was forced to sit on a stool, a very small stool. It's not an ordinary stool. Forced to sit on a stool from 6 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. during the night, and he was not allowed to move a little bit. If she moved a little bit, she will be beaten, and she cannot close her eyes. He will also be beaten, and then later on he was sent to the labor camp where he working from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. to knitting clothes. And because she is a prisoner of conscience, she was forced to work overnight also. So these things still happen in China, but the China government changed its way, making it more covered. But the economy policy is a totally different stuff, so I will not talk about it tonight. And yes, I think I have talked too much, and it's late in the night. And there is one last thing. Thank you very much. And there is one last thing I want to say is I'm really glad to hear that President Trump said USA will never be a socialist country. Thank you all. And have a good night, everyone.
That was great. Boy, we love hearing from people like you. Unbelievable. Grab the microphone there. Yeah. The only thing I didn't like what he was saying about one thing, if we only had one candidate, it was Trump, we'd have him made, wouldn't we? But anyway, we can't do that. And you know, George, you call the Democrats morons and everybody else. They think it's cute when you say it. When I say it, I get in trouble. They tell me I got to be nicer. What's the deal?
We have everybody remembers Elon Omar, the one that anti-Semitic, and well, she's going to be speaking at the Hilton Tampa Airport West Shore, and we'll be organizing. We'll be up on the
Protest march. I hear it.
All right, now we can't make it a protest, and we can't make it a thing about anti-Muslim, because the news will take off with the religion and stuff like that. So what it's going to be is to stand with Israel.
Yeah.
And it'll be across the street in the parking lot. We'll start at 4:30.
You also wear white and blue, I guess, huh?
Yeah, white and blue.
White and blue. Well, it's going to make the Hajib go crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
It'll be spinning.
Well, that's what I had to say.
Anyway, listen, before we get this last auction started, Doreen wanted me to mention about a GOP bowling tournament they're going to have. And I believe it is on March the 10th. We got some brochures about it. If you have a bowling team, you want to sign them up. It's for a benefit. I guess you're going to put the money towards something. Too bad it wasn't in my pocket. But anyway, they're going to get this going. We have brochures on it in the back, all right? And we want to thank everybody for coming tonight. We want to have one more last little auction, see if we can raise a couple bucks for the kids.
There you go.
All right.
We have